Celebrations, carnival, the mood in India's cricketing capital, Mumbai, boisterous as a sea of supporters gathered along Marine Drive to welcome the men in blue after their T20 World Cup triumph. Mumbaikars braving the rains to welcome the Rohit Sharma's team after it ended India's 13-year World Cup drought by defeating South Africa in a nail-biting finale last Sunday. Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. That is the big story, but there are other headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. The Sensex and the Nifty hit a record high once again, but the gains are limited. Veteran investor Ramdeo Agarwal expects the Sensex to double from the current levels within 5 years. That's an exclusive. BajajAuto is all set to launch the world's first CNG bike tomorrow. CNBC TV 18 brings you an exclusive sneak peek of the motorcycle, which will be called Freedom 125. GST relief for the insurance industry. Sources say over 100 notices worth 20,000 crore rupees now stand defunct after a clarification by the GST Council. Companies that have already paid the tax demand will get a refund in the form of input tax credits. That's an exclusive.
I don't think it's AI so much as you know that in general over the last couple of years there has been a reduction in discretionary spending.
The reduction in the IT headcount is due to a slowdown in discretionary spending and not linked to artificial intelligence, as Infosys chairman Nandan Nilekani believes AI can be transformational for India's digital public infra like Aadhaar and UPI. That's another exclusive tonight. The UK heads to the polls. Voting is underway across 650 constituencies across England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Pre-poll surveys have predicted a resounding victory for the Labour Party and the return to power after 14 years. At least 3 more bridge collapse incidents in rain-affected Bihar in the last 24 hours. No casualties reported. The state has seen at least a dozen bridges collapse in the past 17 days. A PIL in the Supreme Court seeks directions to the state government to conduct an audit of all existing bridges. Air pollution is responsible for 7% of deaths in 10 Indian cities. According to a Lancet study, more than 33,000 deaths could be attributed every year on an average, even in cities considered to have clean air. The first of its kind multi-city report shows the problem is not limited to mega cities like Delhi. Meta's Twitter rival Threads hits 175 million active users ahead of its one-year anniversary, says Mark Zuckerberg. The social network is growing, but not as fast as it did initially. India's financial capital, Mumbai, came to a standstill on Thursday evening as a sea of supporters welcomed the team after its T20 World Cup triumph. Mumbaikars braving the rains to gather along Marine Drive for an open bus victory parade for Rohit Sharma's led Indian cricket team. Now, the team met Prime Minister Modi at his official residence in the capital this morning before flying to Mumbai. The win against South Africa in the nail-biting T20 World Cup finale last Sunday gave the Indian cricket team its first ICC tournament win since the Champions Trophy of 2013. India's T20 triumph has proved a massive tailwind to India's cricketing story, and we will discuss the road ahead for India's cricket with some of the most foremost cricket experts, the legendary Farooq Engineer, along with Sharda Ugra, Gaurav Kalra and Joy Bhattacharya. That's coming up for you in just a short bit on India Business Hour. Well, let's go straight to the day's market action. The Sensex and the Nifty did hit a record high again, but the gains were limited. The Sensex gained about 60 points, closing above the 80,000 mark. The Nifty gained just 15 points. Bank stocks did manage to claw back in late trade, helping the Nifty Bank close in the green, but just about. The Nifty Mid-Cap outperformed, up by over 300 points today. So that was the story for the markets for the day. But exactly 1 month ago today, stocks plunged in trade as the election verdict became clear. But it has been a spectacular turnaround, with markets now sitting at record highs. Hormuz is here to wrap up the roller coaster journey over the last 30 days. Hormuz.
Well, today is exactly a month to the 4th of June, the day the Lok Sabha election results were declared. And who would have thought that from almost slipping below 21,000 that day, the Nifty would be making record highs every single day a month later. Now, let's take a look at this in a more granular context in percentage terms. Now, the Nifty fell 6% on the 4th of June. It's up 11% in that 1 month since then. And this I'm talking about closing levels from the 4th of June to closing levels on Wednesday, that is the 3rd of July. The Nifty Bank is up 13% during that period. Now, remember, the broader markets, the mid-cap and the small-cap indices had a bigger fall that day, but the bigger fall, the bigger has been the rebound as well. The mid-cap index is up 14.5%, the small-cap index up 19%, even better from the closing of the 4th of June. Now, which are the nifty stocks that did well? Shriram Finance, the latest nifty entrant, is the top performer here. Wipro comes second, and the recovery in IT stocks is evident as 5 out of the top 10 nifty gainers in the last month are IT stocks. But out of the 49 of the nifty 50 stocks did well, the one stock that had negative returns was India's largest passenger car maker, Maruti Suzuki, and that was the one that had 0.4% a negative return, but the losses aren't significant. HUL, Britannia, BajajAuto are some of the other underperformers, and by that I mean there are not significant gains, the 20-30% kinds, and hence the underperformance. The mid-cap index now, 95 out of the 100 stocks positive returns in the last 1 month, and unsurprisingly Mazagon Dock leads the pack here, 75% here. Fact continuing with the broader fertilizer theme doing well, Dixon making new record highs as well. So all of these stocks did well. What are some of the stocks in the broader markets that did not do well in today over that last 1 month? And that is BSE. But remember, BSE has also had a stellar run in the last few months, and so it's seeing a bit of sideways movement. HPCL as well. Now if you come out the small caps, if small caps was an exam, a 99 out of 100 score would have made anyone proud, and here 99 stocks out of 100 have seen positive returns in the last 1 month. Amara Raja being the topper here. No surprises again because of the kind of moves the battery stocks have seen. Titagarh, Chambal, HFCL, all of them have seen good moves. But some of the underperformers, the only one stock with negative returns on the small cap index is Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, and some of the other underperformers including IRB, Blue Star and some PSU banks. But sticking to PSUs, I wanted to highlight the PSE index that made a high of 11,353 on the 3rd of June. It has still not managed to get to those levels, and the stocks that come up on your screen now, those are the top 5 performers on the PSE index over the last 1 month, and barring HAL and Oil India, the other 3, BHEL, PFC, REC, which fell 25% that day, has still not managed to recover some losses. All in all, it's been a stellar recovery for the market in the last 1 month. While investors wait for the rain clouds in the city, they would seriously hope that their portfolio continues to see some sunshine.
Harmaz, many thanks. That was the journey from the 4th of June to the 4th of July. But let's talk about the journey over the next 5 years. Veteran investor Ramdev Agarwal expects the Sensex to double from the current levels over the next 5 years. He believes that this will be a record year for the IPO market as well. Take a look.
Year after year, for 44 years, I have seen this market growing at, I didn't know that it is 16%. I thought it is 15%. This is a 15% country. India is a 15% country. So I have seen, I mean, like every 5 years it doubles, like from 40,000 to 80,000 it has become in 5 years, exact. So it's about 15%, and longer term is also 15-16%. So there is no reason to believe that going forward it will be anything significantly different. It might become 14, it might become 16. So if you go at 15, I mean, let's keep the base at 15. In 5 years flat, 2029, you will be 1,60,000. We are seeing a lot of supplies coming in from existing promoters and FIs. FIs have been supplying for last 1.5, 2 years. Now they also seem to be tired. Now it is all for the new companies which are not listed. So 100% owned unlisted company, they are coming with the IPO. Almost every day there is 1 or 2 IPOs. I think it will be a record year of maybe 200 IPOs or at least 160, 170 IPOs. Almost every other day you will close 1 IPO. And there is no season in the sense that entire 365 days it is open.
Well, that's Ramdev Agarwal on the Sensex doubling from the current levels over the next 5 years. Now, 2 Adani Group companies are gearing up to raise about $2.5 billion via the QIP route. Money Control reports that Adani Enterprises will be raising about $1.5 billion, while Adani Energy will look to raise about $750 million. The conglomerate has been in touch with investors, and the 2 QIPs could be launched after the budget, which is expected to be tabled later this month. CNBC TV 18 exclusive tonight. BajajAuto is set to launch the world's first CNG bike tomorrow. CNBC TV 18 has accessed an exclusive image of the motorcycle, which will be called Freedom 125. Parikshit Luthra joins us now with more. Parikshit, take us through the key features of Bajaj's first CNG bike.
This will be big news for the Indian two-wheeler industry. BajajAuto is all set to launch the world's first CNG motorcycle at its plant in Pune. This will be launched by none other than Minister for Road Transport, Nitin Gadkari. In fact, Rajiv Bajaj, the managing director of BajajAuto, had given this news exclusively in an interview to CNBC TV 18 way back in September 2023. Later on, the company decided to actually advance the launch of this motorcycle from 2025 to July 2024. Now, why is this big? Well, because CNG is a very popular fuel in India, especially in the four-wheeler segment, in shared mobility, in public transport, and also in trucks for that matter. So Bajaj Auto believes that this will be a very attractive, economical choice for the entry-level consumer. And they believe that the cost of fuel and driving would come down by half for the consumer. So this is speculated to be called Freedom 125. Our sources tell us that yes, it will be called Freedom, and 125cc will be the engine displacement. What some of the sketches and teasers released by Bajaj Auto earlier have shown to us that there will be a toggle switch which will help you move between the CNG tank and the fuel tank as well. So you can run it on petrol, you can run it on CNG. This ensures that you'll be able to run the bike for long distances. We've also accessed an exclusive picture of the motorcycle, or a part of the motorcycle, so to say. So this shows you a bright blue theme, a long seat, and also a round LED light. So these will be some of the specifications, expected to be very feature rich as well. And the Bajaj Auto team would like to price it very, very competitively. In terms of exports, yes, Bajaj Auto has the highest two-wheeler exports from the country, and there will be a plan to export this motorcycle to at least 5 to 6 countries in the near term. But their focus would be on the domestic market, and if this experiment is successful, they would like to bring out more CNG motorcycles and have a full CNG portfolio as well.
Within the calendar year 25, we hope to be the first in the world to launch such a motorcycle. But today I'm going to tell you, we are so encouraged by the results we've seen from the testing that we are actually able to prepone that by a whole year. So within this calendar year 24, in the very near future.
Well, you heard it first here on CNBC TV 18. From one newsmaker to another, Infosys chairman Nandan Nilekani says the reduction in the IT headcount that we're currently seeing is on account of a slowdown in discretionary spending and not on account of artificial intelligence. Speaking with Lata, Nilekani did acknowledge the risks of AI reducing jobs, but also added that AI can be transformational for India's digital public infrastructure like Aadhaar and UPI. Take a look.
Well, I think there are many fears about AI, founded or unfounded. One is, of course, that AI will hugely automate and reduce jobs. Now, that's a fear we should take into account, because anytime a new technology comes, some jobs will go, but new jobs will come. And there will be a period when maybe the job loss will be more than the job gain. But fundamentally, I think in India, we have to think of it differently. If we can use AI to amplify services to people, if people can get better education, better healthcare, better farming knowledge, then actually it has a very positive impact. So if farmers know more about how to farm, they'll do a better job and so on. So I think if we think of AI as amplifying human potential and apply it that way, I don't think we should be that worried.
Coverage of IT companies. If you just took the top 5 companies in the Nifty, the aggregate numbers they hired was negative 62,000. Until now, we have seen slower growth, but it was always growth. You know, a reduction in the workforce of the top 5 by 62,000 is a bit of a scare.
Yeah, but I think we have to also look at what are the factors. I don't think it's AI so much as you know that in general over the last couple of years there has been a reduction in discretionary spending of client companies.
Is that not related to AI?
No. I don't think so at all.
Well, that's Nandan Nilekani. The big global story. UK went to the polls today. Voters across 650 constituencies across England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland lined up outside polling booths to vote for the next government. Concerns over economic stagnation, crumbling healthcare and immigration dominated the election campaigning. Pre-poll surveys predict a landslide victory for the Labour Party. Prime Minister Sunak and his wife Akshata Murthy cast their vote at a polling station in Yorkshire. Labour Party leader Keir Starmer cast his vote in London. The 61-year-old Starmer in all likelihood will become the next Prime Minister if Labour returns to 10 Downing Street after 14 years. Results of the elections will start trickling in tomorrow morning. Sanjay Suri joins us now from London. Sanjay, winds of change in the air.
The voting is on its way and the writing is pretty much on the wall. It has been for some time now and certainly for long before this election was called at all. And without doubt, Rishi Sunak has read that writing. How would he not? He has spoken of himself now as the underdog, prepared to fight to the last, which really means he knows he is a goner. The question is now, by what margin? And it could be a wide one. Over recent days, the Labour lead over the Tories has dropped very slightly, going by some polls, but clearly not enough to save the Conservatives, not nearly enough if these polls are right and they are to be trusted. But it's not just the polls. A number of Conservative members and campaigners say that victory now for the party seems impossible, and it's about how heavily the Tories will lose, and they are not optimistic about the margin either. Questions, in fact, are now being asked how Starmer's children will adjust to living in 10 Downing Street. Among voters, clearly there are concerns over a stagnating economy, unchecked immigration, crumbling health service, but fundamentally it really is more than that, because on all these, nobody believes Labour has some magic fix. It's Rishi Sunak who is unpopular. He has been coming across as much too much a PR puppet. And let's not forget, he was never elected to the job. That was just an arrangement amongst some desperate Tory MPs. He lost the party election, and it appears that he's about to lose the general election.
Sanjay Suri, we will keep returning to you as UK decides who will be in 10 Downing Street, and it looks like it will be Keir Starmer, Labour returning after 14 years. Back to the big story this evening, the triumphant Team India returning home with the T20 World Cup. Mumbai has come to a halt to welcome the world champions. We have a bevy of India's foremost cricket experts to revisit the World Cup triumph and look into the future. Here they are, starting with the legendary Farooq engineer, who shared some incredible anecdotes and revealed how much he is missing Mumbai's Marine Drive and the bhel and vada pav at Chowpatty.
In 1971, I missed the ticker tape welcome when India beat England in England and the West Indies for the very first time. As the whole team came back with Wadekar and Gavaskar and everybody, I had to drive up to Manchester with packed tandoori chicken in my hand because I was playing a Lancashire-Yorkshire game the next day. And as I went out to open the innings the next morning, blurry-eyed because I had reached home at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a standing ovation from the whole Old Trafford packed audience, and from all the Britishers mainly. And that brought a tear to my eye that, I've just literally shoved their country the day before. And here it is, they themselves are giving me a standing ovation. So it was a wonderful feeling. Marine Drive, Chowpatty, and all that, makes me want to eat sev puri and bhel puri, and all that brings back my wonderful memories of Mumbai.
Just the amount of cricket we play and the kind of stars that we're looking to look after, like the test match team, looking after somebody like Shami, looking after the fitness of somebody like Bumrah over time. All these require specialist people. So I definitely think having a specialist staff, of course, there has to be somebody who's overall looking at the big picture, but that's the selectors' jobs as well. They're looking at the big picture, and somebody, perhaps the most senior coach, has an eye out over what is happening over both formats. But look, don't kill the man. Whoever's doing it, I think they need to have a situation where they divide this responsibility up.
I think in the last, say, maybe 5-7 years, you've seen a massive change in the quality of the Indian attack across formats. So you're talking about test cricket as well, which is why we are able to win test matches overseas and test series overseas. And I think Bumrah's performance, Akshar Patel's all-round performance as well. You've seen, I don't think the bowlers are in the background anymore. The discussions that don't tend to happen about them is that should a bowler be a captain rather than a batsman? So you're saying Hardik Pandya at one level, but why can't it be Jasprit Bumrah as well? And I think it's the whole bowler-batsman imbalance that was there in Indian cricket that has definitely changed and shifted, not just in this event, but say in the last, say maybe 5-7 years, because you've had a very good pack of fast bowlers. And as Dale Steyn says, batsmen win matches and bowlers win tournaments, and that's what they did for India this time. I just want bowlers to get more credit than they do. I want the rules to be kinder to them.
But I think there's no doubt in my mind that Hardik Pandya will be India's next T20 skipper. I think there were question marks. In fact, he was on the road to being India's T20 captain before. I think there was a change of thinking after the ODI World Cup, and Rohit was put back in that role. But if you look at just in terms of his credentials as a leader and the success he's had as an all-rounder in this team, and the fact that as Rohit's deputy, he obviously played a big role, I have no doubt that going forward, the 2026 World Cup, he is the leading contender.
And plenty more where that came from coming up for you on India Business Hour. A break, but when we return, after 12 bridges collapse in 17 days in Bihar, a PIL seeks the Supreme Court's intervention. That and more when we return. And remember to catch all of CNBC TV 18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. Well, the interim budget this year announced an outlay of 8,500 crore rupees to promote innovation and increase funding for the renewable energy sector. Now, as the full budget approaches, Abhimanyu Sharma reports the renewable energy sector seeks more to boost growth. Take a look.
This year's interim budget had witnessed the announcement of the Pradhan Mantri Suryoday Yojana, viability gap funding for offshore wind energy projects, and an allocation of rupees 8,500 crores for development of solar power grid infrastructure. Here is what the renewable energy sector wants from the upcoming budget, which would be the first for the NDA 3.0 government.
Because of the optimal use of these batteries and the large scale, so economy of scale as well as the transformation or the improvement in the technology itself, both of them will be driving the prices down. Prices of the batteries is coming down, and then this will lead to exponential growth of installation of these batteries.
How incentives could be provided to make more appropriate innovations in market design, in technology, and in making sure that we can stay on track for what we have promised in terms of the renewable energy capacity coming into our grid. To be able to get many more players who can contribute to this ecosystem, one would need a mix of large players to come in for big stationary applications, but also leave the space open, leave the innovation space open for many more manufacturers who can participate in this journey at scale sizes of megawatt scale. So I think that's quite critical. Battery, of course, we know is going to be extremely critical to get in more variable renewable energy.
Looking at energy storage area, one of the requests is in terms of looking at standardization of GST. Lithium-ion batteries are at 18%, solar is at 12%, batteries which are not used with as a part of EVs are getting charged at 28%. Looking at removing some of the trade barriers for export, that is something which a request from government. We need to be a little bit careful about dumping. We are expecting soon some announcements related to the third edition of FAME, the faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles, and possibly expansion of the incentives beyond just electric two-wheelers, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, for even off-road vehicles, agricultural vehicles and other areas.
Standardization of GST on energy storage, PLI support, removal of export barriers, curbs on dumping and a new FAME scheme are some of the demands the renewable energy industry wants the government to fulfill. In Delhi with video journalist Pradeep Kumar, this is Abhimanyu Sharma for CNBC TV 18.
Well, more on the budget wish list coming in. But the big national story, Hemant Soren has taken oath as the Chief Minister of Jharkhand for the third time following Champai Soren's resignation from this post. This comes after Soren's release on bail on the 28th of June, nearly 5 months after his arrest by the Enforcement Directorate in an alleged money laundering case. At least 3 more bridges have collapsed in Bihar in the last 24 hours. No casualties being reported. The state has seen at least a dozen bridges collapse in the past 17 days. A PIL in the Supreme Court has sought directions to the state government to conduct advanced structural audit of all existing bridges. Take a look.
Another day, another bridge collapse. This is the story of Bihar. 10 bridges have collapsed in the last 15 days amid heavy rainfall. The latest incident took place in Saran, where a 15-year-old bridge collapsed this morning. A petition has been filed in the Supreme Court seeking immediate intervention and directing the Bihar government to conduct a structural audit of all existing and under construction bridges in the state. The petitioner warned that such incidents might also happen in the future due to the negligence of the government and the corrupt nexus of the contractors and concerned agencies. The other 9 bridge collapses have taken place in Siwan, Madhubani, Araria, East Champaran and Kishanganj districts in the past 15 days. According to the petition, these collapses raise significant concerns about the safety of bridge infrastructure, especially considering that Bihar is the most flood-prone state in India. The petitioner has sought real-time monitoring of the bridges according to the parameters of the Union Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Now, what has the Bihar government done so far? Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has instructed the Road Construction and Rural Works departments to survey all old bridges in the state and identify those in need of urgent repair.
Now, Meta's Twitter rival Threads has hit 175 million active users ahead of its one-year anniversary. The social
followed by a drop, and now after a year it has managed to be at 175 million daily active users. Despite growing its user base, Threads has struggled to maintain engagement. Data from Sensor Tower revealed that last month users logged in at an average of 3 sessions and 7 minutes per day on the app, representing a decline of 79% in number of sessions and 65% in number of minutes compared to July of the previous year. And so even now, discussions are on at Meta about whether to continue developing Threads as a standalone app or to integrate its engagement back to Instagram like they did in its first week. Whereas if we were to compare it to Twitter, that despite its ups and downs has remained strong. Currently, Twitter has daily active users in the range of about 270 million users. Elon Musk took over the platform almost 2 years ago when it had about 250 million users. And eventually, because of features changes, verification changes, all the subscription changes that Musk brought about, X too went through a dip in its engagement and saw a dip of 225 million daily active users, falling from 250. This was confirmed by the CEO Linda Yaccarino. In the same space, if we look at other platforms like Mastodon and Blue Sky, they aren't doing anywhere even in the range of Threads and X. And the competition in the space is only getting intense. In fact, just yesterday we reported on Coup shutting down, which was an Indian alternative to Twitter. However, since Threads is a Meta product with Instagram's base to fall back on, advertiser interest in Threads still remains strong. And so to build it further in terms of user interest and revenue, Adam Morris had indicated that news and ads may soon make their way to Threads. Back to you.
All right, Racha, many thanks. Now, Reliance Chairman Mukesh Ambani met senior Congress leader and Rajya Sabha MP Sonia Gandhi at her residence today to invite her to the wedding of son Anant and Radhika Merchant, which is scheduled to take place on the 12th of July in Mumbai. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. The news continues right here on CNBC TV 18. And do remember to tune into our special on what the T20 triumph means for the road ahead. We have the foremost voices from the world of cricket joining us. Take care and thanks for watching.